Report is what we shall be having right here on TV47. We invite your feedback at TV47 News, at George Maringa _ use the hashtag the Daily Report TV47. Once again, we thank you for joining us. Tonight, I will be speaking to four gentlemen, that is Honorable Nabi Nabura, seated to my left, as well as Richard Egon, Bomet East MP. There on my left, and on my right, we shall be having Dr. Fred Ogola, who is a governance and political analyst, as well as Mena Karobia, who is an IALA MP, that is the East African Legislative Assembly. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us right here in our studio.
Thank you.
And welcome. So beginning with, the issues at hand, we have, I want to pick your minds, first of all, even as we go back to what has happened this evening. But I want to pick your mind on what the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu Hassan, had to say a few days ago. Let's have that bite, and then that will set the pace for the conversation right here on the Daily Report.
Haya tupeleki vizuri. Tudumishe amani na utulivu. Amani na utulivu wa taifa inaanza nyumbani, inakuja kwenye jamii, alafu inapanda kwenye taifa. Tukitulia, ndugu zangu, mambo mengi yanafanyika vizuri. Amani kishamiri ndani ya nchi, miradi itakuja, maendeleo yatafanyika, wafanyabiashara watakuja, wawekezaji watakuja nchini, pesa itakusanywa, mambo yatakwenda. Tukiparurana na kugombana na nini, wale wanaokuja wanatusikiliza, wanasema kule hakwendeki. Kwa mfano, nilikuwa namsikiliza mkurugenzi wa kituo cha uwekezaji Tanzania anahojiwa kwenye TV, akasema mwezi Mei na Juni tumepokea wawekezaji kiasi ambacho hatujawahi kupokea, wengi mno, na thamani ya miradi iliyokuja ni hii. Lakini ukitizama sababu ni nini? Sababu ni kwamba kwa jirani kuna waka moto, na mwekezaji hakai kuna kuwaka moto, wanakimbia, wanakuja zao kwenye amani na utulivu. Ni waombe tutunze amani na utulivu tulionao. Tunapotofautiana tuambiane, hakuna kisichosemezeka. Tuambiane, suluhu ipatikane, sio suluhu mie, suluhu yenyewe. Suluhu ipatikane ili tukae vizuri, mambo yaendelee. Kwa tunaposherehekea mwaka mpya, kwa wale ambao tulikuwa mbali, basi tubadilike, tuendane na haya ambayo tumeambiwa. Ndugu zangu, kwa kumalizia, ni washukuru na kuwapongeza tena ofisi ya Mufti, lakini na Serikali ya Mapinduzi ya Zanzibar na kamati ya maandalizi ya maadhimisho haya kwa kuandaa kongamano hili na kuniita kuwa mgeni rasmi. Lakini niwapongeze kwa shughuli zote ambazo zimepangwa kwa wiki nzima kuadhimisha ujio wa mwaka mpya wa Kiislamu. Mwisho kabisa, na kutakieni kila la kheri na kusisitiza kuwa tujitahidi kusimamia nidhamu na malezi mema kwa watoto wetu kwa ajili ya maendeleo ya taifa letu. Na tunamwomba Mwenyezi Mungu atujalie mwaka mpya wa kheri unaokuja, na tuseme alhamdulillah kwa yote tuliyopata katika mwaka unaoishia. Tumwombe Mwenyezi Mungu atupe salama na baraka nyingi.
Indeed, that was the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, that is Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan, speaking, alluding to the lack of peace in this country. And I want to begin with you, Mheshimiwa. Briefly, your thoughts and your reaction to the statements by the President of our neighboring country.
Yes. Truth be told, the country is at a crossroads. There's no peace. Really peace of the mind, and peace that would facilitate business, trade, and economic development.
Yeah.
And that is what Sulu is saying. We've just come from a week where there was massacre of people in Kisumu bordering to genocide. We saw people being pulled out from homes. There was massacre of people in Bondo. A young man by the name of Walter, who was just doing his business, was killed. We saw people, I have lost my own, a person from my constituency in Kawangware. A young man who was in his kiosk in Kawangware, and he was shot by police. Several other people have died in Kibra, in Madare. We saw people shot. We lost 4 people in Homa Bay. You saw what happened in Busia, which nobody's reporting. Students who are coming from school were killed. In fact, we are going for their burial in the course of the week. They were walking back home. They had nothing to do with the protests, but here the police executed them. So really, in terms of any person who wants to put investment in this country, he will think twice. And that's what Samia is saying. And there are many other reasons. I was looking at something today from the central bank statistics, and I was even more appalled that the Kenyan shilling has fallen across all the other currencies in East Africa. The other currencies are appreciating against our own shilling.
We will come to the CCBK is saying, but your immediate reaction, Mheshimiwa Yegon, I could see you yearning to interject, Mheshimiwa here. Your immediate reactions to the sentiments by Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan.
Thank you very much. My sentiment is that I think Suluhu Hassan has a country to govern. And her country is what I can say she needs to get focused on. Kenya is being governed by another president, and to us here is these issues of the so-called violence and what my friend has called it, has termed it the massacre. I fail to understand. I've not seen where massacre has been done. It's only the issues where the politicians cause all this mayhem and try to go and fish out people who are going about their businesses, inciting people to come out in large numbers and do something which is unconstitutional. I know, anyway, Article 37 of our Constitution allows picketing and all this to do peaceful protest, but unlike in Kenya here, our politicians who are in the opposing side normally incite people, telling them to arm themselves, carry stones, loot. Where I come from, we didn't see anything like people going to protest or any unpeaceful or any protests. But here we see, look at even the other few days, they have called off today about the protest.
Yes.
The Thursday of last week and Friday, you saw what happened. If some politicians were not arrested, I think it could have been worse, because you just found there was no protest in the whole country because of the instigators being arrested and put in behind bars. Yeah,
you say Kenya is being run by another president, she should focus on her own country.
Yes.
Mheshimiwa Karobia, your immediate reaction to the sentiments by Samia Suluhu?
First of all, is to thank you, George, for hosting us and have a discussion around the growth of our country and also the current state of affairs.
Yes.
Let me say, as a member of parliament in the East African community, I'm also concerned around the issues that are happening in Kenya, because Kenya is the heartbeat of the economy of East Africa, and also it's the gateway of East and Central African markets. So as a head of state within the region, I know Samia Suluhu, the President of the Republic of Tanzania, has legitimate reasons to be concerned around what is happening in the country, because you'll find Kenya is also a country where most of the raw materials from Tanzania are added value in Kenya. So I think those are legitimate questions, legitimate concerns for her to have as a partner state, as a neighbor, and as a friend. But on the other side of the coin, on the flip side, I think it would be good that the tone she would have used should not have been more of finding pride in getting or taking, or people now coming out of Kenya and getting to Tanzanian market. I think she would have appeared more of a state person, talk about their concerns, talk of more solution-based, because you can remember in 2008 fracas, one of the people who participated majorly on the peace process of 2008 was President Kikwete. Kikwete. People underestimate his intervention, but I've read widely around the role Kikwete played. And I think it is something that even heads of state should learn from. It is not that it is unique that we have in our own political issues in our country. Even in Tanzania and other neighboring countries, I've had that privilege by virtue of my position as a member of parliament in East Africa. So what is happening in Kenya is not so unique in the region. We have very serious issues in the region. You remember what is happening in DRC, and Kenya is a major state in the peace process of DRC. Uganda, the Republic of Burundi, and Rwanda. They might not be so much projected on the media stations, but actually conflict is not just the physical conflict. Conflict can actually be, if you see me with Mheshimiwa Yagon here or Mheshimiwa Nabii, we are not speaking, and we are colleagues, or we are actually citizens of this country. It's actually a conflict. Yeah. It is only that it is not being projected. So I know what you know what I mean. Yes. A country might be peaceful. In fact, Kenya, I have shared a platform with these members of parliament from other countries, and actually they find our country to be very unique. They ask themselves, how do Kenya people wake up and express themselves in a contrary manner with what the president and the government of the days.
One would argue, our constitution provides for it, but let me pick the sentiment before we get to the how's happening across the region.
So I think the Samia, as a president of a country within the region, has a legitimate question. But on the other side, on the flip side, I think any stakeholder within the region should look at the solution of any political dynamic that comes on board. Yes.
Daktari, when you look at this, when you analyze this whole situation on the sentiments by the president of Tanzania, what do you make as a governance analyst and expert?
Yeah, of course, there's the issue of geopolitics that is involved there. She's trying to tell people that Tanzania is safer. She's being self-interest, if you like. But at the same time, she's giving advice. So as an expert, there's what I call how to give advice and how to take advice. So the two people have to learn. Sometimes that the person giving advice might fail on how to be good in giving advice, but even the person receiving advice cannot throw the advice away just because of how it's given. So we have a response as a country by saying, what is the message? Because you don't throw away a baby with bath water. So there's a baby being bathed here in Tanzania. The water is dirty. You say, let's throw away that dirty water, but pick the baby. What is the message? So we take the message, and sometimes how it is conveyed, the platform doesn't look good. I'm sure there's a phone line between Tanzania and Kenya that he could call the people concerned. He could call the president of Kenya. He could call the Raila Odinga. He could call the person he wants to talk to. But she chose to do the way she's done it. She's given you feedback, even at home. You go home, your wife can give you feedback in the way you want to take. But as a gentleman, you should be magnanimous. So me, I'm asking Kenyans to be magnanimous and saying, take this the way it should be given and actually be able to use it. But she doesn't mean well exactly because she's trying to tell the people outside there that Tanzania is safer than Kenya. The point is, how safe? We are just going through a process in Kenya. Hopefully this process will go. But at the same time, let's also be concerned, are what she's saying true? Yes. peace is not lack of war. Peace is even more serious when there's no war. In fact, when people are fighting now, you can say they're expressing themselves so that actually you can see, for example, if you are sick of malaria, when you begin now, like for example, let's say having high pressure, now you are sweating, we are seeing the malaria is going. But when people are very quiet, there could be more deep-seating issues involved. But I have to highlight that what is happening in the country is shameful. And I have to say that politicians are trying to say there's nothing going on. I'm so shocked. Because people have died, we have numbers. And I can tell you, George, if you read the word of one of my very good professor, he's called Professor Voltaire, says that when a politician says yes, they mean maybe. When they say maybe, they mean no. And if they say no, they are not politicians. And the ladies, they say, if a lady tells you no, it is maybe. If they say maybe, it is a big yes. And if they say yes, then they are not ladies. Because ladies should not say yes. So if you compare all these scenarios, what I'm trying to say is that there is a failure here by the Kenya Kwanza government as a ministry because they are giving room where someone can look like, for example, Azimio may look like they're solving Kenyans' problems, but packaged with their personal interest. If they solve the issue of the Kenyan economic situation, we shall separate the signal from the noise. But what we are hearing are bringing people like retired president to the picture. I think Kenya Kwanza is going back to pre-election of 2022, which is a smokescreen we don't want. Just sort your promises that you made to Kenyans, sort the economic situation, let cost of living go down, then we shall hear whether Azimio will come and now say something else, and then they'll become irrelevant.
Just something.
Yes.
Is Samia becoming selfish? I don't think so. I disagree totally. In fact, if you understand Swahili, and you've studied phraseology in Swahili, she's being very guarded. This is how she brings her description of the Kenyan situation. She first of all addresses the issue, how valuable peace is, amani, okay? In the context of development in Tanzania. And then she says, look, if you want to know, that this thing is important, I was talking to the director of trade and investments in my country, she even looks around to see whether he's there, and he told me that in the last 2 months, in the last quarter, we have received a lot of business people, investments, okay? Because kwa jirani, kumewaka moto. How disrespectful is that? How selfish is that? Is a statement of fact conjured to explain her story to her people, to make her people have their antennas up to realize that if they joke around with peace, they can. In other words, she's saying, we have been trailing Kenya. That's what she's admitting. But now we have surpassed just because of one item called peace. For God's sake. As a Kenyan, I take that as a very humble way of telling Kenyans, hey, even telling the president, hey, my brother, look at this thing.
So we are due for
it could hurt you.
We are due for a break. So do you think we are listening to her? Very briefly, yes or no? Is Kenya listening to
who?
Is Kenya listening to the likes of
Kenyans don't listen to anybody. They think they are a manna made from heaven.
Do you think we are listening? Very briefly?
Yeah, we normally take advice from every corner of this world. And the advices are not bad. The only thing which I can say is Kenyan politics democracy has come through a very long metamorphosis.
Yes.
Whereby you know, we are just very much ahead of other countries in the region
You can imagine.
when it comes to democracy. But that is why we allow these people to just run around.
Yeah.
But the problem is they just do the wrong way. They don't.
Nobody runs around.
Let me pick their sentiment.
This is a wrong statement. Nobody runs around. We don't run around.
Yes.
We represent our people. We project the issues as they are. My friend, you may not know, even to get this constitution that has brought you to sit on this table as a member of parliament, people run around.
But don't arm these people. You are arming the people to loot and then destroy property for the...
I will request, today I've come with my gadget, I will request you to allow me to play and we see it on TV. Who has armed who?
All right. We're listening to the likes of Samia Suluhu. Yes,
who has armed who?
From my view, from the leadership that we have, because the people who offer direction, political direction, are the leaders of the country. To the best of my knowledge, I know President William Samoei Ruto and Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua are leaders who do listen, are leaders who look at things from a wide perspective. You realize the reason as to why they have achieved what they have achieved. It's out of them being able to look at things from a pragmatic and wide, broader perspective. But what I must say is that the context of leadership and governance in Tanzania and the leadership of Kenya and governance is totally different.
We will come to your sentiments on magnanimity, but we are really due for a short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. I'm already seeing your feedback online. Do stay with us. You're watching TV47, The Daily Report.
Sasa ukiwa na as low as 200 shillings, yes, so mbili unaweza futa landlord kazi.
The news that matters the most is the one that hits close to home. When disasters strike, we are there to inform you. When the bullets are flying, we tell you who's shooting and why. Reporting on your victories, your health, your money, your security, your past, present, and future. We are interested in telling the stories of creativity, hard work, and resilience that you are known for.
That is our job. This is my job. My name is Victor Muyakane, and it's my honor to bring you this news this way every Thursday night on the home of Untold Stories.
Katika majengo haya, hapa ndipo sheria zinapotungwa na zinapopakuliwa. Nitakuletea viongozi mbalimbali, mirengo mbalimbali, wote kwa pamoja wakipika na kupakua. Tutawapa nafasi kuweza kuangazia changamoto na mafanikio ya ugatuzi katika ukumbi wa siasa kila siku ya Jumanne kuanzia saa 1 kamili na kuendelea.
Toka eneo hili la Naivasha kwenye kaunti 032, gatuzi la Nakuru.
Kutoka kaunti ya Elgeyo Marakwet, kaunti 028.
Nikiripotia runinga ya TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Wajir.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Turukana. Kwa matukio yote yanayojiri katika kaunti hii 012.
Kutoka kaunti nambari 1, kaunti ya Mombasa.
Parliament for Lugari na Binabuera. We also have Richard Egon, Bomet East MP. On my right, Dr. Fred Ogola, as well as Maina Karobia, who is the Yala Member of Parliament. Before into the break, we were coming to you and you were picking your mind on whether Kenya is listening or not. You brought up the issue of magnanimity.
Yeah, I brought up the issue of magnanimity, and I also say we are not listening. I even went on television one day and told the president to listen to what Uhuru Kenyatta said on his speech when there was inauguration for the president of Nigeria. And he told him, once you win an election, you become magnanimous. Those who voted for you, those who didn't vote for you, those who like you, those who don't like you, you are the head of state. And I can tell you, here the buck stops, it is the president that needs to listen more than anybody else. At home, Mheshimiwa,
yes,
they said the most intelligent person is the first one to say, I'm sorry. Like if my wife confronts me, I first say, sweetheart, first of all, I'm sorry. Then from there, you disarm the person. Yes. Then you talk. But if at home, you're the one banging tables and shouting on top of your voices, you've lost leadership. And for me, no matter what Raila does or doesn't do, what Uhuru did or not, Uhuru is a retired president. He can do whatever he wants. The person elected in Kenya is William Ruto. Let him listen to what Kenyans are saying and even advice from outside. According to me, there is nothing new from the president of Tanzania. Peace is paramount. We talk about peace, love, and unity. It is there in our flag. He's the symbol of unity and peace as the president. You cannot be symbol of peace and unity and don't know the importance of peace and unity. According to me,
I want to
it is just
there.
being magnanimous.
Yeah, you want to interject?
Yes, I think I want to correct you a little bit because President Ruto has been he has been crisscrossing the whole country, trying to talk to everybody that he's the president to show that he's trying to unite the country.
He's not talking to me.
No, he cannot come to you individually. He's talking to the whole nation. He has just gone throughout the country. He started even going visiting Nyanza. You remember? He went to Nyanza, launching projects there, meaning that he's not that kind of a person who thinks that wherever he got so much votes, he's going to...
You'll see me, you'll show me, try me, you'll see. Those are the things we hear, man.
George, let me come in because Dr. has talked about the president being magnanimous and offering listening. I can say this, that if there is one statesman, and I'm talking from my own interaction with the president for the last 5 years. If there is one statesman that we have as a country, and a very patient man, is President William Ruto.
With you?
Not with me.
Yeah.
Let me contextualize this thing with real example.
Allow him to finish.
You see, when this Maandamano started,
yes,
the president actually told Azimio people,
don't destroy property.
He actually told them, you continue with your demonstrations. He told them to continue with their demonstrations. The other thing, he told them, as you continue with your demonstrations, I'm giving you a plan B,
yes,
which is called bipartisan talks.
Thank you.
So he is giving them actually two platforms upon which that Azimio and the opposition can lay their issues and people can listen to them. And if they are legitimate, at least people can come on the table and find a compromise and all that thing. But do you know what Azimio has given us? They have actually reduced the protest to what you call domestic terrorism, where people just think that they can take advantage of the article that Mheshimiwa was talking about here, and now they can go around destroying lives and destroying properties. And that's why I fully agree with the measures that have been taken by Kenya Kwanza government, that police must instill constitutional order and rule of law by ensuring that...
By killing people.
The characters who are hiding behind the article, was it 37 of the Constitution, picketing and making noise, have now changed their courts. And they are now more or less terrorists and criminals.
And they,
just a minute. You can't reduce the debate.
They've run away to support.
We can't reduce the debate. Yeah, we can't reduce the debate to Kenya Kwanza legislators. Yeah. First of all, I can't begrudge Karobia. His age allows to, because he has never seen it. He has never seen this country. He doesn't know the journey we have traveled to reach. For him, he has only seen Ruto anyway, and maybe
is that true, Meshma?
Yeah, and Uhuru. He doesn't. Just a minute.
Okay, let him make his point.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. He doesn't know that we had a man here called Moi. He even doesn't know there was a founding father. Okay? That is why he can think, he can imagine that President Ruto is so patient.
He's the best
He's the best that he can have. Because that's the one he has experienced. I can't begrudge him.
Are you comparing him to
please.
some countries?
And I want to tell this. That it is absolutely annoying that a person who sits in the East African Legislative Assembly would sit here and say he agrees with the bludgeoning, the killings, the murder, mass murder of young people. I've just told you here that in Busia, 2 students who were coming from school were killed. They had nothing to do with Mandamano. They're just going back home. You and I, and you people showed it on this TV. You saw a policeman hiding who went to kill a person who was not armed in Kawangware, where I've also lost a person from my ward, Chevayo ward.
No, the rest
they
had run away.
Just a minute. You also saw clearly children in a class, yeah, being tear gassed. Children in a class, okay? You all also know we have evidence in this country, which you people have recorded, that any time we have had our thing where police does not come, no property has been destroyed, no one has been killed. Where police have come in to intervene, or where we don't need them to intervene, they have caused mayhem, they have caused confrontation. It's fact, right? All I want to say is this, that you can bury your head in the sand on what Kenyans are raising about of the cost of living to imagine that anybody who questions that becomes a domestic terrorist. You can call it whatever name you want, but it will not go away. You would rather address the issues Kenyans are raising. Now, let me ask you a simple question. Why is all currencies in East Africa appreciating as ours depreciate? If there are no issues.
George.
If there are no issues.
Let me have the right of reply.
Yes.
I might be a young person, as Mheshimiwa is saying, which is rightly so. I've not interacted with past presidents.
Yes.
I've interacted with Uhuru Kenyatta. I've also interacted with the current president. So I know, and I've read widely. I might have been young, but I can tell you I've read history right from the times of Alexander the Great. I know, I'm not here, but then Mheshimiwa should ask himself, how can a 29 years old person be elected by members of parliament and senators? It is unheard of.
Because the law allows a young person to be elected.
But this is the point.
We even have a 23-year-old, so that's not an achievement.
No, this is
anyway.
the point. This is the point.
I have a 21-year-old.
No, listen.
Right.
This is the point.
My friend.
No, Mheshimiwa Kidogo. This is the point.
Go to the issues.
He should not.
Yes. Let's go to the issue.
No, this is the point.
Go to the issue.
You should not use age.
Yeah, okay.
Is a prejudice that you should never use in terms of leadership.
Okay.
But this is the point. The characters in Azimio.
Yeah.
Because right now it is not actually.
Look at the language. That's why.
They have zero. If you ask them if they are protesting on issues of cost of living,
yes.
If you ask them what is the concern of them going to protest and destroy properties, they will tell you it is cost of living. But can I shock you? 8 months ago, when Raila Odinga was asked about the cost of unga, do you know how he told people? He used a very derogative word. I don't want to use it because this is a very honorable station. But he used an abusive word towards Kenyans who are asking legitimate question about the cost of living. 8 months down the line, he is now protesting under the pretext of cost of living. I always call the Raila Odinga and his associates that they are like a pendulum that swings on whichever side favors them.
Yeah,
let me say this.
Yes.
Allow me to say this. The issue at hand are characters who are actually hell-bent towards overthrowing this government, which was legitimately elected by Kenyans on August of 2022. And I can tell you,
yes,
this government has every other right to protect lives and properties and protect the vote that was casted in August. And I like what Dr. talked about here, that we have a president who was elected and we have a government that is legitimately.
We'll come to Dr.
Thank you very much. In fact, I want to say something about what my colleague has said here about the massacre of the people. You know, I fail to understand the word massacre, the word he uses. Massacre means brutally killing.
That's what you've done.
Brutally killing people in thousands. I want him to tell us whether we have even reached 100 people or 50.
The hundreds, you will see. We'll
No,
be parading them.
because I just want to ask him, all this thing he's using, he said also we have tear gas the children in classes, in the classroom. Let me tell you, if you tear gas, even the field there, you know, are you aware that tear gas is carried by wind? It just goes very far. And I want to tell you, my friend, Azimio team ran away from the bipartisan talks. And I'm telling you, they are going to run away from everything. I was telling people now, even if Raila wins today, he's going to start protesting, saying that I didn't win. This is what I can say.
Yes. George, at the back of it all, we are
trivializing a discussion.
Azimio has called, on the International Criminal Court to start paying attention to what's happening in Kenya.
So by the way,
yes?
let me just put something very clear. And I would like these Weshimiwas to be honest with us.
Yeah.
Please, calling people domestic terrorism, I think that's unfair. And let me tell you the reason why we are having more people who died in this demonstration. Yeah. In Israel, for 3 months now, there have been mass action. Yes. No one has died, no property lost. In South Africa, there was a demonstration there for around 3 weeks. No one died, no mass action.
Because they don't carry stones.
Just wait. What is different in Kenya? The difference in Kenya is this. Article 37 of the Constitution is clear that you can actually do those things that Kenyans were doing. Yeah. But what brings confrontation is that the evening before the mass action, they declare them illegal. Yeah, they illegally declare them illegal. The court refused to suspend those things. And once you suspend the Constitution, everybody going to the street to defend themselves. But if the president, Kindiki, and the guys in charge of security will say, Kenyans, tomorrow go for mass action, do it this way, and that way. The police will protect you. Don't come with a stone. The police will offer security to both of you. But here I can tell you, anytime we are going for demonstration, it is the policeman going to beat the protesters, not protecting them. And we see this every day. According to me, you have a right in the Constitution.
Yes.
A right must also be enjoyed. God gave you right to life. You cannot be in this life miserable just because you have a right to life. So demonstration should not be the tear gas, should not be among other things. So I'm calling upon these people to be really honest and tell us what we need to do. On the other side also, let's look at ourselves. We have borrowed these rights in the Constitution from the West. We don't have the infrastructure to do peaceful demonstration, to be honest. In South Africa, they had a history of apartheid, where it's clear where to walk, where not to walk during mass action. The public order is more clear. In fact, there's even liability. If you organize a protest, if there's destruction of property, there's a way you become liable. In Kenya, these are the legislators I'm asking them. They need to go to parliament and legislate clearly how this should be done, because there's some lacuna in all these matters.
Yeah. I want to reply
and please, just allow me.
Yes.
We, as Operation Ndogatuzi, have gone to court to raise flags on this, because even your own CS of security went to Sondu and said this statement, that he's encouraging the policemen to stop being biased, meaning he has evidence they were biased, because in that area, they allowed some people who are being protected by security persons to kill people who are protesting against the government. And he said that he's going to make them become unbiased, meaning the people who died, people who were actually hurt in this thing, were not protected the way they should be protected. So I'm urging you guys to be neutral during demonstration with their security, not to unleash them against people. I saw somebody being given inside their house. How can you demonstrate inside your house?
You can respond even to
let me just
quelling this.
Let me just respond to him about this issue of South Africa and Kenya versus Kenya.
Yes.
The demonstration in South Africa was very peaceful because they even carry flags. Have you ever seen in Kenya anybody carrying flags?
Because let me finish. It is illegal, so they are coming to war.
Let me finish. In fact, even these people, the so-called, those who are talking in Jacaranda, you see they've been inciting people saying that don't close your shops because we are coming, we are not going to loot, but we are coming to pick things in your shop. What does that mean?
Because they have been declared illegal illegally.
Yes.
You know, they are inciting themselves. And
Listen to that
That is
word.
why we are stopping them.
Illegally.
We are stopping them from stealing from these people. These are thugs.
So much.
George,
just a minute.
We'll come, but then let me pick your
let me say a few things.
Then what does this, sort of the suspension of the demonstrations mean this week?
Yes, I'm going to deal with that.
Yes.
But before I deal with that, last week, part one, I was in Kakamega, and you saw in videos. I was in Kakamega with protesters. We did one on the street with placards, nothing else.
Did police?
Police came and stopped me. They tear gassed me. I mean, I was with like 500 people. We were walking street to street with our own marshals, making sure they don't interfere with anybody. But we were tear gassed, right? What had we done?
You were illegally protesting.
Just a minute.
You say he was illegally.
They were illegally protesting because they were not given any license.
But
By declaring them,
it was declared by the police that there was nobody who had requested for a license for this demonstration.
Let me now tell you, some of us, we are not going to accept anyone to suspend this constitution. We are willing today, you can kill all of us, but we are not going to.
But
after all,
you're supposed to inform the police.
Even Idi Amin killed so many people, but he left power. Hitler killed 5 million people. He committed suicide.
But you're supposed to.
So we are not going to accept anyone to suspend this constitution. This constitution does not say police must allow any demonstration. Not in Kenya.
You are supposed to notify police.
That's what we have done.
The court refused to do it.
Yes. Let me just, you asked a question on the suspension.
Yes.
We have told you, many of our people have been massacred. We are taking a break to mourn and audit. We will be presenting to the country, to the international world, all the people who have been killed in various places. We will be keeping vigil with the bodies so that we see. You know, people live in a kind of fool's paradise because they even argue with the reality. Are you saying that the people we saw being pulled from houses in Nyalenda were protesting? You protest in your own house?
No.
Perhaps have you sought, as Azimio, the legal channels to try and address this, even as you take a break to mourn and, you'll be coming with an audit, but in the meantime?
Please, our strategy on this issue is very clear. It's very clear. We are going to, first of all, audit what we are auditing. Our people are in court. Even today, we were in court. By the way, you may not know, many of us are targets of being arrested. I may even live here and be arrested outside here.
You will be arrested.
And I don't worry about that. Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
Even if
you know, politics of intimidation is where we are. Okay?
Have you personally been intimidated?
Yes. In fact, I can tell you, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I was being trailed.
How did you know?
But the DCI was looking for me, of Matete. And I asked him, why do you want me? I meet you every day. And come and see me.
Let's go to Mheshimiwa Karobia first.
George.
Yes.
I told you that Azimio has zero chance in whatever they are trying to do. Zero legitimate concerns because what we are having in our country is not unique. I must say that I celebrate our police service for the stability.
For killing people. Thank you.
You have had your chance,
thank you.
I must celebrate the police service.
I'm not even shocked. The president celebrated them. Kindiki celebrated them.
I wish to celebrate the police service that we have for the stability and level of standardization of our political affairs in our country for the last 1 week. I wish to say that the economy is back. Children are going back to school. And I wish to tell the police service that they should continue with the level of professionalism that we saw last week. I also want to congratulate the media because you also aired humanitarian works of the police, giving food and water during last week activities. These are the positives.
The PR.
These are the positives of the activities that are happening in our country. If I'm to bring you back to what other jurisdictions are doing with the protest, because I told you it's not unique in Kenya. Right now, there are whole protests that are happening in Israel. France, for the last almost 1 year, they have been demonstrating and protesting. I have not seen any destruction of properties in France. Exactly. I have not seen the economy of France being shut down. And this is the political hygiene that we need to instill in our people, that you can express yourself, you can use alternative ways of airing your contrary opinion and how the country should be run, and people listen to you. But then, let me tell you, a person tends to listen to you more when you approach an issue with a lot of maturity and with a lot of high level of intelligence than when you go around trying to threaten the peace and the rights of another person. And people must understand. And this should be a political culture in our country. And that's why as young people, let me say this. You know, Mheshimiwa Nabi just told me that I'm a young person. Let me tell you, one of the motivations of me getting into politics is to clean up our political system, where people get to...
And you can't clean it.
You can't clean it by celebrating murder.
Just listen. Where people are defeated.
You are celebrating
You have been defeated 5 times, and you cannot accept that you have been defeated. We need... This is the political hygiene that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That if you are so much aggrieved with how a country is being run, you can go to court, you can protest and respect other people's properties and lives, and people will listen to you. By the way, George, you are right to picket, protest, and walk even naked if you wish to.
George, you need to have a balanced debate.
It stops the moment you infringe on my right and freedom.
We're having a balanced debate, but now again, as
we don't allow one person 10 minutes, and others we are giving us 2 minutes.
You know, I'm very patient by the
way. Before I forget about what you asked him about, and he didn't answer that question, about have you gone to court to register your cases? And in fact, what I can tell you, they are afraid of going to court because even if the court rule in their favor, they will still go to protest. They will not accept whatever the court has said.
Let's start entering the home stretch of the conversation because we need to wrap up. Gentlemen, we need to start.
Yes, as a video operation, Gatuzi, I've taken 16 cases to court so far since you guys come to government. Like you see, Hustler Fund, I stopped it with court. They cannot be able to take boards, cannot take oath and the rest. On Wednesday, theft. I'm filing a case against the IG for the crime against humanity.
Yes.
And I've registered a case in ICC. I'm not joking because I've been gotten response from the prosecutor to seek permission to submit a case because you apply to submit a case. So I passed the past process by saying it meets admissibility, jurisdiction, and threshold. So we are in those 3. Now we are applying to apply. So even if Azimio is not doing it, I'll do it for them. I'm not doing it for them, but I'm doing it for Kenya.
But could you guide them, please?
No, I'm not the advisor. Me, I'm also doing what I'm doing. So Azimio is also aware those things are ongoing. So another thing I want to bring here, which is very important, and I think this is very key for this conversation, let us not forget that we are Kenyans. I think this is what is happening here most of the time. Let us not forget we are Kenyans, that someone celebrates a win. You know, on Friday, I had one of the most shocking news on myself. When I had Mungatana with the Kenya Kwanza MP celebrating that this Mandamano failed. Then I asked Mungatana on the phone, what is failure? That many people did die and there was no too much demonstration. How can a Kenyan say that? So, for me, I think what we need to think about here is that if there was demonstration, Kenya lost. Whether it was, in fact, we are going to demonstration and last resort. And let me bring history here. Raila Odinga began like a joke in Kamukunji in this place called in this place in town here by saying Jivanji by saying, I'm giving you 14 days ultimatum, let's do XYZ, isn't it? Of course, that was a way to begin conversation. It was go away, you loser. Let me tell you what, my brother. in as much as we respect your young age, let's also respect those people who are old also.
Yes.
Because in fact, if you despise your parents, if it is
age is not an issue.
We don't want to get to age.
So I'm trying to say, let's respect everybody, irrespective of their age. What I'm trying to say.
No, the reality is, George, this is the reality. Azimio lost. This is the reality.
You go back to him.
No, it's because
it's because we are winding up.
Yeah, it's because we are winding up, and then you look at the value of the
your
points that we are making.
As we wind up.
The reality is
moving forward.
The reality is. And moving forward, this is our expectation.
Yes.
That the president of this country is His Excellency William Samoei Ruto. The deputy president is His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua.
Yes.
That is the reality that we must live with it. And I think Azimio have tried to score for the last 5 elections.
The more you shut at home, you are the husband.
Listen, Nani Daktari, I've given you your time.
Why must you shut about it? Then it's doubtful. Are you doubting it?
Azimio have lost the election for 5 presidential elections. I think they need to change their striker in the run-up to 2022 election. Otherwise, they'll still lose it.
Yes, my parting shot is that personally, I'm going to thank the Azimio team for calling off the demonstration on Wednesday. I want to tell them that let them continue doing that, and going forward, let's continue building our economy because we are just seeing some good things happening for this Kenya Kwanza administration.
Mheshimiwa Nabii, you get the last word, even as you towards what next for the country?
Let me just tell you, we've been here before. This country has traveled a journey. You can bury your head in the sand, but the issues will not go away. That is the reality. They can call Raila all names they want. They can call Azimio all. The reality is, if you don't address the issues that Kenyans are raising, even when we are fighting for Section 2A to be removed, we were called names.
Absolutely.
We were abused.
Indeed.
When we are looking for this 2010 constitution, including the president.
We are absolutely done.
He was calling us names and called these constitution names. He's the one enjoying it.
Absolutely.
I can tell you for free, these things are not about to go away. We just must confront them.
Nabii, Nabwera, the MP for Lugari, as well as Richard Egon, Bomet East MP, Dr. Fred Ogola, governance and political analyst, as well as Yala MP, Maina Karobia. My name is George Maringa. We are pressed for time. That's all we had for right here on the Daily Report. I'll see you next